Boxing King Media in association with Boxro, joined by BCB Boxing's Dan Mull. Dan, can I just introduce you as maybe like the Frank Smith of boxing at BCB? Because fans are probably wondering, what does Dan Mull do at BCB? Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, that's a fair reflection of what I do. I'm a few pounds behind him in the bank, but yeah, as I stand here as 22 shows in a year, yeah, it's been a busy old year for BCB, and it's just great to be part of it.
Definitely, man. I'm getting deja vu. I get the feeling we was probably at this venue this time last year where you guys also had the last show of the year on, and you've kind of done it back to back. So just tell us initially, you had the most shows on last year as a promotional company. Have you done it again this year?
We've got to be up there, haven't we, mate? 22. I don't think anyone's going to beat us at 22. So, look, we pride ourselves on being one of the busiest, if not the busiest, promotional outfits in the UK. We did it last year. It's been a long year. It feels like we've done it again this year, mate.
22 shows, obviously they're all like UK shows, so it's worth mentioning that because somebody will be going, oh no, Matchroom had more shows, but in the UK, I don't think top of my head anyone's done more than 22 shows. And not only that, you guys have had a lot of success in the away corner. Your fighters have been fighting on Sky shows, Queensberry shows, Matchroom shows. So just briefly tell me some of the success stories that you guys have had this year, because the fans will probably know the names, but they might not know that they're under the BCB banner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know BCB boxers will watch this, so first of all, apologies if I miss anybody. I wasn't expecting that question. But you look at some of the big highlights of the year for us. Liam Davis picking up that European title, massive for us. Kirsty Bavington picking up the European title and defending that title. Tyler Denny, what a year he's had with his English title. So those are three that really stand out. From my point of view, but there's been lots of our fighters. You know, you have the highs and the lows. Gullet of boxing. You know, you've got Zach Parker with his broken hand. He's trained by BCB, and that was a tough one to come back from our point of view. But we know Zach will be back stronger next year. But then, as I say, that's sandwiched in between. You know, the weekend of Liam Davis winning the European title, Kirsty Bavington defending the European title, and the week before that, Tyler Denny picking up that English. So those are three real highlights that sort of spring to mind. But it's been a long year, it's been a long night, so I'm sure I've missed a few along the way. But BCB, we've got about 60 boxers. A lot of those fighters, like you say, are in the away corner. An awful lot are also in the home corner. And I think what a lot of promotional outfits will have experienced from COVID is moving those lads on. So those lads who are probably a year or two older, but not in terms of the amount of fights they've had. So we've got a lot in our stable now that are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 0. So next year will be a big year for them as we really want to try and get a lot more of the area titles on our shows and really start having a real main event at the top of the bill. That's been probably the most difficult part of this year, if I'm honest with you, mate, because you've really got to try and sell the shows based on the quality of the matchmaking, and I think we're able to do that to a point because Errol Johnson's as good as anybody in the game. But at the same time, you want to be putting title fights on, whether they're English, British or area titles. So I think next year, if you're asking me for a New Year's resolution, it will be to get more of those area titles fought, because some of the best fights you'll see are area titles, and we want to get those on the top of our home shows and then move our big guns on from European onto world level, or British onto European, or English onto British. We've got lots of big names, we've got lots of big fights coming up in 2023.
Definitely, and I can vouch for the matchmaking, because again tonight it was basically prospects versus journeymen, but they were so well matched. A lot of the fights could have gone either way, and there's some close contests as well. Just pick out some, and you probably hate this question as well. Pick me out, maybe I'm going to say one name. Yeah. So give me one name that the fans may not know, somebody you guys have newly signed, or maybe it might be one or two fights in that they can keep an eye out for, that you might look to progress quickly next year.
I'm not going to do that. I'm absolutely not going to do it. What I would say for fight fans out there would be to just keep an eye on bcb-promotions.com. Follow us across our social media. You'll be probably amazed, thinking, oh, I didn't know he was with BCB. Oh, I didn't know she was with BCB, because we've got such a big, vast stable, from road warriors to prospects to bona fide champions, fringe world level, European, British, English. We've got a box of tricks for everybody. So just keep an eye more so on BCB, because we're the busiest and the most, well, we're as hard working as anybody. And yeah, you talk about Matchroom. Matchroom have done brilliant, but they've got a slightly bigger budget than us, and they've got a slightly bigger broadcast than we have. But at the same time, nobody works harder in the game than the guys at BCB.
Definitely. Dan, I just want to, because I know you're a huge Nigel Benn fan, so I can't let you go, because I don't think we've spoken about it on camera. Obviously, without going into the details of what's happened, but you've seen how things have unfolded in the news, etc. What's your overall opinion of the way the things are unfolding with regards to, Conor Benn's test? That still obviously needs to be proven whether it was deliberate or, what's the word Eddie Hearn used, contamination.
Look, that's for Conor and his team and his lawyers and the British Boxing Board of Control. The way that it sort of played out in the public domain was uncomfortable for a lot of people, because those are things that maybe should have been done behind closed doors and a little bit further away from, 24, 48 hours from fight night. But what will be with that one. But ultimately, from a boxing point of view, you want the sport to always have integrity and to always have one rule that meets everybody, as opposed to some for one and some for another. So that'll play out however it plays out. But for me, the most important thing with anything you do in life is to do it with integrity. And as long as integrity remains, then good luck to everybody from the outcome of that.
And just out of curiosity, you guys put on 22 shows, because a lot of fans are like questioning how much testing happens at all levels of boxing. To your knowledge, that out of the 22 shows you guys did this year, do you know how much times you could have been involved in any of them?
So it's only really from our point of view when you get up to those European fights that we've been involved in, where we'll have had those testings on the evenings, whether that's BAV and also obviously some of the fringe IBOs that we'll have had. But from our point of view, we welcome it. It's a big part of the sport, and this is the most dangerous game of them all. So what you want to make sure is that everybody is performing on a level, fair playing field, and I think everybody in the game wants that. And as I say, integrity is the most important thing in life and in sport, and we need to uphold it.
And just regards to the cost of that as well, when you can turn up at events, obviously you've got some old shows on. Does the cost put on you guys, or is it covered by the British Boxing Board?
No, so we bear the cost of that as part of the promotional purse for those big fights.
That's interesting, that, innit? So unless you guys pay out for the show tonight, unless you guys pay for it, you're not going to get any drug testing?
No.
That's interesting. I think fans find this sort of stuff interesting because it's obviously been in the subject in the news quite a bit in the last 12 months. So, Dan, it's been a pleasure to work with you guys again for another year. Anything you want to add before I let you go?
Merry Christmas and a very happy New Year. Keep an eye on BCB. We're busy and we're getting bigger and better with every year that goes on. So hope all your viewers have a lovely Christmas, and here's to a massive 2023, not only for BCB but for boxing as well, because if we do well, somebody else does well and the sport grows.
100%, I can vouch for that. Dan, it's been a pleasure. Have a good Christmas and Happy New Year.